What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is time for the 24th expansion-packed episode of the Switch It Up show. I am your host today, Seth Trav, joined as always by our friend Glenn. How you doing, buddy?
I feel like I'm crawling back from the depths of illness, my friend, because you and I took a sick week last week. Go ahead, cough it out, man. Let the people know.
As am I, my dude. Be sure to listen to this week's Preachcast because we will be talking about why we sound the way we do.
Indeed we will, sir.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 24th episode. Because we're sounding the way we do, we're going to let these good time beats roll. That's right, man. That's right. I got to dig around in my satchel. Hopefully, I'll find some emergency because it's time for the inventory. That's right, my dude. It's the segment where we talk about what we're playing on the Nintendo Switch. And I'll tell you what, I've had a few sick days. So I've had some time to stare at my Switch and at least think about playing a few things. I don't know about you, but I did take a few sick days this week. And I wound up playing. You see, we're just living the gimmick right here.
Yeah, I know.
We're letting you know how sick we really are, ladies and gentlemen. You know, that's why we took last week off. But I was playing a lot of Sega 5 still. I actually wound up putting down Mario to play some of that, and I actually got really into the game that I am reviewing later on. I don't know if I want to say really in. We're going to find out.
Oh, yeah.
Sparkle 2.
Don't want to spoil it.
We're going to find out about that later on in Press Continue.
So speaking of Sega 5, it's actually something I got my eye on this Black Friday because it's going to be $20 over at Best Buy, which is pretty.
Oh my god,
like that's a steal, man. It's
such a good game.
I don't have it yet, so I'm gonna hope to either. I really hope I can just order it online, but if I have to like knock somebody down, I guess I'll have to go that route. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Go back. It's like the very first episode of the Switch It Up show. I review it. Find out what score I gave it. It's up there.
So you put down Mario, but I picked it back up in the last week. I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't take really any sick days. I kind of, I fought through, but I'm still having a great time with Mario, going through, trying to grab like all of these coins that are in every level. That's kind of stuck with me ever since Mario 64, But back then, I was only 5 red coins, but now I'm getting forced with like 100 coins, and I feel like I have to get them or I can't progress. So it's taking me way longer than I would like it to take me in sometimes, but it also makes me feel like I can sleep at night.
What's your moon count?
Oh, dude, I don't even offhand. Like, I don't even know. I feel like I found like a good amount of them in the very few beginning levels. And I'm not really as focused on the moons because it's not like in my face directly, like how many there are, like the coins are. So I feel like I can.
333.
Oh my gosh, you're a madman, dude. You're an absolute madman.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's interesting that I hit that number somehow.
No, you got there, man. Somehow, barely. Especially in your illness.
Right? The way I am, hanging on by a thread as I always do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some potent power-ups. Hopefully, this is NyQuil, DayQuil, any kind of quill for the thrill of the news. Because that's the segment we're on about right now. What news do we have? I know personally one we didn't hit was Hulu.
Oh, dude.
Quietly showed up one morning. They're just like, here it is. No like huge announcement or anything. It's just like Hulu. We're there. We made it to the Switch first.
Yeah, it came out last week during our sick week, and I mean, I think that's awesome. That we've been saying for a long time how the Switch has needed something that would be able to stream, like some type of like streaming app. And I really did not think Hulu was going to be the first one to the game.
No, complete shocker.
But like, I am happily surprised that Hulu is the choice that they went with because they have like a very underrated selection of movies, and they have some of the latest television too. So. Like, that's a good one, dude. Hopefully Netflix isn't too far behind.
The best thing I have seen so far is all the images of people watching Golden Girls on their Switch.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, finally.
I'm telling you, man,
It's happening.
They got a bunch of different stuff to watch on there. I think it's great. Hopefully, we're gonna get more apps like soon, because that's what I'm all about.
Dude, God willing.
Also, it's been announced that Capcom is developing some games to release next year, and one of them actually includes Ace Attorney. Have you ever been into the Ace Attorney series?
It's funny, my girlfriend actually just told me that she is currently playing Ace Attorney. And that she's terrible at it. I've never played one of them, though. I think they're awesome.
No, dude, they're a lot of fun, and it's another type of visual novel game in a way. I think it's awesome that they're gonna take that, which has really found its home on like the DS and the 3DS, and bring it over onto the Switch, because that's an awesome series, and I would love to still be able to play it. So hopefully, I'm hopeful that they have like a, I don't know, some type of compilation or something like that they'll just put everything together with.
That'd be awesome, man.
That'd be good, dude. And then lastly, one of the biggest things is with Skyrim coming out soon, very soon. It has a day one update, and it's going to include video capture. So that's pretty cool, man.
Oh my god!
Another step closer towards video capture, just on the Switch, like natively. That would be awesome if we had some type of ability where it would just like push it to an app, or to Twitch, or to like YouTube Live, or anything, man. Because we went out and got that stream box, but be nice if there was just a built-in way.
Yeah, we
know
did.
What I'm saying?
Sure to check out our YouTube. There's some playings of Mario Odyssey.
Indeed, man. Indeed. Watch me struggle through. Now that I'm not on death's door, maybe you'll get some gameplay shortly.
Right. Yeah, man. I just managed to like pick up Kingdom Hearts again yesterday and put some videos up of that.
That's a fun one, dude. I love that game.
It's my first time through it. Experience it with me, ladies and gentlemen, as we are also about to experience these new things, because it's time for Press Continue. That's right, it's the new releases segment. And this week, we're going to kick it off with the very first one. And that is, of course, the biggie, coming out November 27th, 2017. It's been on every other console you can imagine, and now it's finally on the Switch. It's Skyrim. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's Skyrim, okay? Like, you get it, okay? You already know. It's part of the Elder Scrolls series. I picked it up on Xbox 360, I think, and it crashed over and over, so I never picked it up again. Maybe it's time to pick it up on the Switch. I don't know. I watched my girlfriend play it a lot on the PS4. Seems cool, She's got some sort of a cat class person.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
$59.99.
Yeah, it's pricey.
Too much.
I feel like it's pricey, especially for a game that's been out for so long. But I feel like that would be a cool experience on the Switch for sure.
Could be handheld.
I think so. Anyway, so up next we have Aces of the Luftwaffe. This is a top-down shooter with all types of power-ups. Every end is a new beginning. When Europe seemed to be freed, a secret German commando called the Aces of the Luftwaffe took their chance to strike back and invade the USA. It's your duty to restore peace and liberty by climbing aboard deadly wings of steel and fight against their fearsome war machines in bombastic air battles. Experience an epic storyline and survive the bullet hail above the U.S. coasts and cities. Command your wingmen, fight as a team, and fight as a squadron. It's an action-packed shoot-'em-up with fully explosive visual effects. It looks really, really cool. The graphics look I don't know. They just looks fun.
Bombastic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's super.
Anytime I hear bombastic, I'm exalted.
Super colorful.
I just think of Shaggy,
Yeah, Shaggy. Super colorful, up to 4 players. This game looks like it could be a good time. It is on the eShop. It is $14.99. Gonna see if we can't get our hands on that one for an upcoming review. Looks good.
God willing we will. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Ginger Beyond the Crystal, $19.99 on the Switch. Says available now. A world destroyed by a crystal explosion, a mysterious threat hanging over its inhabitants, and a goddess who creates a hero. This is Ginger Beyond the Crystal. The towns are devastated and the inhabitants disappeared, but there is still hope. Ginger must reestablish the connection with the goddess by purifying corrupted crystals that have spread throughout the worlds. It won't be easy. The worlds are full of enemies and trap across 15 different levels. Luckily, you will not be alone. Some characters will give you special abilities that will help you solve puzzles and defeat your enemies. There are 3 different worlds to discover, each one with its own enemies and incredibly fun bonus levels to test your skills. That is Ginger, Beyond the Crystal.
Ginger.
Looks like a neat kind of platformer, but kind of like more of a side-scrolling 3D platformer a little bit. Seems like it's very cartoony. Could be cool. I don't know how I feel about this going around purifying things.
A little weird, but hey, you know
a
what?
little odd. Language is a little odd for me.
Yeah, makes you a little uncomfortable.
Leave you a little uncomfortable, Ginger.
Well, that's okay.
Rethink the phrasing.
We're gonna make it a little more friendly with Green Game Time Swapper. You are a master of time. You can set it to past, present, and future. Use this power to help a mechanical bird complete its extremely important mission of collecting the knowledge about a mysterious green world. This is not an easy task. As the bird moves on its own, you cannot stop it. Control time to activate and deactivate various mechanisms to make sure the bird reaches the cage without dying. 50 levels full of danger. Control time to influence the environment. There are many paths to the destination, a unique green graphical style, and a soul jazz soundtrack. Now that's where you got me. It is only $2.99 on the eShop. Looks very much like it's a 2D side-scrolling game, like akin to almost like Braid. Reminds me of that type of graphic. And for $2.99, that's a deal, my friends. Might want to check that out.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Braid. You enjoyed Braid?
It was a good game, man. It made its appearance on a lot of consoles.
Yeah, it did. Something else coming out on this console is Rive Ultimate Edition. It's $12.75 currently on the eShop. The metal wrecking robot hacking shooter you've been waiting for. Blast your way through insanely spectacular battles in this hard, fast, and hilarious action game. Better than ever on Nintendo Switch. Some of the most memorable moments in a shoot-'em-up in years, says GameSpot. Exclusive to the Ultimate Edition on the Nintendo Switch, play with a friend in co-pilot mode. HD rumble effects let you truly feel the action. More achievements, 48 and counting. Loads faster, play smoother, tweaked to perfection. Nice. That's Rive,
awesome,
apparently,
man.
ladies and gentlemen. It looks a lot like, oh my god, what are those games? There's like 12 of the Metal Slug.
Yeah,
Looks
really.
a lot like a Metal Slug type game, but with like maybe a space trucker.
Yeah, it does look cool though.
Cool. It actually looks like it's right up my alley. I would be totally into playing this one.
Awesome. Next
Rive,
up,
check it out.
Next up is 6 Vs. It is $9.99. Every section has an equal and opposite reflection. It's the game that will have you walking on the ceiling and looking up at the floor. Is a challenging 2D action platformer with one deceptively simple gameplay mechanic. Without the ability to jump, Captain Viridian must rely on inverting gravity to advance through the hundreds of rooms to solve the puzzles he encounters therein. This love letter to the 8-bit home computer games features an amazing retro gameplay, a genuinely classic and visual aesthetic, and an earworm chiptune soundtrack by Swedish musician Magnus Paulsson.
Oh, my dude.
Yeah, your dude. This game has a very, very 8-bit feel to it. It looks a little bit more akin to Atari. Definitely got like the Pac-Man vibe going on. It is $9.99 on the Switch. This looks interesting. But I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're into this graphic style, you might love this.
I don't know about the Atari. I'm getting a little over the kind of like 8-bit revolution. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man.
I'm like, we can move past this. It's cool sometimes, but more often than not, I'm like, why is it so 8-bit? Did you have to get it out that quickly?
Exactly.
Dude.
Exactly, man.
Moving on to our last game this week is a game we are going to be reviewing in the very near future. It's called Xenoraid. Currently, it is $8.99 on the Nintendo Switch. It is a classic shooter action with modern features. Xenoraid is an exciting shooter game with a classic action and modern features. Intercept the alien threat in missions that play out differently every time. Pilot successfully to line up devastating bursts of fire. Switch between 4 fighters during combat to bring in the best weapons for each situation. Upgrade, repair, and enhance your squadron between missions. Bring down huge alien capital ships and hectic boss fights. Put your skills to the ultimate test in 3 endless survival missions with online leaderboards. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the $8.99 Xeno-Raid. It looks like an awesome, like, what are they, schmops? Is that what they call them?
Shmups.
Smopes?
Yeah.
Smops?
Shmups. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Looks like a good, old-school, fun-time shmup. I'm very excited to play this. I think they actually said that it is not at all like your classic shmup. You have to actually, like, be very picky and choosy about what ships you use or something like that. I didn't read the press release that well.
I mean, it looks fun, man. I'm anxious to see what you think about it in the next episode.
Right? I try to go into these things as, like, free and clear as I can, because sometimes I feel like they butter up the releases, you know, or they're like, this game is, you know, like, awesome for every reason. And I'm like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
So
you want to give them a fair
shake. I try to go in smooth. But this already looks fun. I love this graphical style. I'm still into the, like, SNES style, you know, that's very, like, kind of animated cartoon.
I'm with you, man. I feel like if we're doing the retro graphics, we got to start there. Yeah.
Right? 32-bit or nothing. I need like Knuckles Chaotix. Don't give me anything less than Knuckles Chaotix.
There you go, bro. There you go. It's understandable.
Let's see if you can understand, ladies and gentlemen, because we are about to press continue. That's right. It's our no, it's the Let's Play. Excuse me. I died there for a minute, came back to life, thought we were in the old segment, but it's the Let's Play time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's where we're going to review 2 games today. First one for me. I am, of course, Seth Trav, and this is going to be a talk about Sparkle 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about Sparkle 2, I believe, on the last episode, because it was just getting released. You can get the official description there. What I want to tell you is it's one of those games that it looks very pretty, and the music is very ambient. It feels like you're in the ocean, you know. It's got a nice kind of feel like that to it. You're basically an amoeba type thing going around trying to eat these different colors, and then they give you different power-ups, and you continue to evolve and get bigger, and you'll eventually be able to eat bigger things. That being said, there's like a quest mode and everything, and it's very pretty. Very, very pretty. But that being said, it's very easy, I want to say, because I went through the whole thing, this whole campaign-ish type mode, and I know that I was taking damage every now and then, but I don't think I was ever, like, close to death, and I don't feel like there was ever a real challenge, and it was very laissez-faire, you know? And I didn't necessarily, there wasn't like a goal for me really I just kept hitting like an arbitrary number of points, which I think was like 101. And it would be like, you win. And I'm like, oh, okay. Why? You know, I would eat creatures and things like that, but there wasn't like a lot going on. And it went, like I said, it kind of just like went through, and it was breezy, and it was, I believe they say that it's designed to be a nice calm game. And that's what it is, but I feel like I needed a little more direction. You know, I think it would have been better if it was just completely one thing, open world. You always just start out as a small amoeba thing, and you just have to keep eating until you get bigger and evolve into different things. Like, I would have been much happier with that. You know, and it just keeps score. Because this didn't do that. I don't believe there was a score. If there was, I wasn't paying attention to it. So because of all that, very pretty, but it kind of pretty. It's got kind of a Virtual Boy feel to it, you know?
Yeah, a little interesting.
It's interesting. It's interesting to play, and it's calming, but not necessarily in the most fun way for me, you know? So because of that, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Not a bad score. Not a bad.
No, not a bad score. Once it's a little cheaper, I would say check it out by all means, because you can really just enjoy yourself and kind of play through it, but it's just very kind of like, I'm not really stressing at all. There's no, you know, like I said, you know, I need some oomph to play. Otherwise, I'm like, why am I even playing a game?
Yeah. No, totally understandable, sir. Well, my game here that I'm going to be talking about is Wheels of Aurelia, and it's got plenty of oomph, don't you worry. Let me go ahead and hit you with the synopsis here. Embark on an immersive road trip through the gritty western coast of Italy during the roaring 1970s. Play as Lella, a bold, spunky woman experience the sight and sounds of a tumultuous time in Italy's history while uncovering the events of Lella's sordid past. Take the road less traveled while meeting unpredictable casts of characters along your journey and making detours along the way. An interactive visual novel based on short moments in time during Lella's travels. Each playthrough ends with one of 16 different endings based on your choices. Travel across the infamous Via Aurelia and discover a new side of Italy in a thought-provoking game about the road trip, not the destination. Uncover Lella's first fierce personality and mysterious past while choosing each line of her dialogue in the game. A compact game experience with 16 different endings, each with its own epilogue. Simple and highly intuitive one-handed controls. Not true. All Italian soundtrack provides emotional ambiance to accompany the game's narrative. Accurate. Original art by renowned illustrators, handcrafted to bring Italy to life in new and unexpected ways, rooted in research, culturally accurate events during the 1970s, including kidnappings and extreme political turmoil. Independence Game Festival honorable mention, Indiecade nominee, and Fantastic Arcade Game Spotlight. So this game comes with some, with a couple awards under its belt, and it is definitely a visual novel that you are kind of like clicking through. Think more like choose your own adventure rather than visual novel.
Neat.
Dude, I was pretty excited to play this game, and I wasn't necessarily let down by it, but I mean, it is like much further on the visual novel side, and then way less on the game side. As soon as the game starts, you are already driving, which is cool. Like, you're kind of just off and going. And you basically using the left stick on the switch to control the car. And it's like a top-down view of the car. And the car is kind of obstructed as you're driving by different buildings. Maybe it could be like trees, street lights, the darkness if you're driving at night, any type of weather. All that stuff kind of gets in the way of the car. And really, the car is there, but it's not really like the main focus. The main focus is yourself and whichever passenger that you happen to have with you. As you're driving down the road, you have the choice whether or not you're going to stop at different places where people are waiting, and you can pick them up. And when you pick them up, you immediately start talking with them. And that's when you use the right stick in order to kind of choose which sentence you're going to say. And you kind of just scroll through it until you find the one you like. Once you like it, you just leave the stick there. A couple seconds will go by, and then that dialogue will work its way into the conversation. And the game just continues like that. As you're playing the game, you'll learn more about the story, and every person that you pick up has a different type of story. But the main story that you learn about as soon as you're starting to drive through. So I don't know if this is a spoiler because there's like 16 different endings. But the game itself is rated like teen. But the very first story that they're talking about is Lella is driving her friend across the country. They're driving through Italy, and they're on their way to France because she wants to have an abortion.
What?
Yeah. So okay. So I'm like, this is a little more intense than I thought like Nintendo would have here on their on their console. And you're having like a serious like in-depth conversation with her friend of like, it's like, oh, like, I don't know, like what I should do, like is like, I don't know how I feel about this, like what do you think?
Oh my God.
And you're going back and forth, and
oh my God.
and I'm like this is a little heavier than I thought.
Nintendo, are you pro-life?
I'm like I didn't think they were throwing all this at me, but at the same time you're also trying to drive the car, so I don't know if all
the whole time you're trying to decide these huge theoretical things, and you've got to drive a car.
And yeah, well, you're going through, and you're like, oh man, this is I got to think out this response like just right. And you're scrolling through, and you're like, oh, these aren't exactly how I would word it. And you're like, oh, I guess this is okay. But the weird thing is that there really are no physics in this game, and I guess that's good because you're focusing on the conversation and kind of where that journey is going to go. You will get to, physically wherever you're going if you just complete the level, just, follow straight. But you can't crash, you can't blow up, nothing like that. So, like, I mean, that's cool that you don't have to worry about it. But at the same time, like, I would like to, I would like some type of challenge in that way. Like I would like something a little bit more at stake. There are times where you have to like race somebody or like drive away from them. And like there are times where I'm way ahead and I'm watching the guy behind me basically just like knock cars out of the way. And I'm like, come on, like I'm over here like making an effort to like swerve around these obstacles and they can kind of just bully their way through. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But the game is, I don't know, like I mean that particular storyline I wouldn't necessarily say was fun, but some of the other ones certainly are much more lighthearted. But it has a teen rating, and that the first story that it hits you off at, I'd probably say is probably maybe higher than teen. So I mean I don't know. I don't know what else awaits you in the Wheels of Aurelia. I did not get all 16 different endings. But
I would love to watch you play through each of these endings.
Well, it's interesting.
At least one. I really want to see you play through at least one of these.
Well, it's weird though because like depending on what you choose, like you could end the game really quickly. You could pick somebody up and they'll say,
do it,
and they'll
pick up a hitchhiker and get shot.
Well, you don't get shot, but you do get kidnapped at one point.
You get kidnapped?
Yeah.
I have to see you play this.
Yeah,
Why are you keeping this from the world?
There's a lot of cool surprises in this game. But
Dude, give me a playthrough.
What's weird is that if you stop, like if you pick somebody up and they're like, drop me off at the next stop, and you don't, like it will end normally, and then you'll get like like an ending. But yeah, it's Wheels of Aurelia. It is on the Switch eShop. It is it's an interesting game. If you're more like on the and I like visual novels, but there's not quite enough game here. There's just it's like so novel heavy, which is fine, but like I don't know, I wanted a little bit more. I think I'm going to agree with you and go ahead and give it the 1.5, sir. Excuse me, 3.5. 3.5. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that, man. Didn't mean to hit it with that.
Too much visual novel for you.
A little too much. Just wanted some more gameplay. That's all.
Okay. I dig that. I definitely dig that. Hopefully y'all dug it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for bearing with us as we struggled to stay alive. Hopefully next week we've taken enough of our I was trying to think of a video game reference, but every single one of them would sound like we're doing awful drugs. Let's hope we're better. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been episode 24 of the Switch It Up Show. Remember, if things ever get boring, you can always switch it up.